The movie opens with somebody on the ground. The person's body is burned up and he is dying. We know that we're in for a ghoulish start. Then cuts to Sam dressing up for school. At the breakfast table, we find out that Sam's full name is Samida. She is Indian and her mother wants her to help make food for the religious festival they'll be celebrating tomorrow. Her mother is sweetly remembering how she had celebrated this festival in the past with her sister, her mother, and her grandmother. She used to cook with her mother, and her mother used to cook with her grandmother. It is clearly a family tradition that her mother is looking to continue with her, but Samida is not interested and is trying to put it off. We already see that Samida is trying to break away from what her family does and to go her own way. Her dad comes home from the night shift and her mom serves him breakfast. As Samida talks to her dad, she whistles. Her mom instantly stops her and tells her that evil spirits will hear her. We see that this is a household that tells stories about what someone may or may not do to wake up the spirit world. Samida rushes off to school, leaving her lunch behind. Her mother chases after her, but does not catch her. We guess that Samida has done this on purpose. She might be embarrassed to take her native Indian food to school. At school, we see that Samida is a bright student and that she answers questions confidently in class. Her teacher Joyce appears to like her very much. There's also a very cute boy sitting next to her, Russ, who is clearly interested in her. He invites her to an event on Saturday. She says she can't come because her mother expects her to celebrate the Puja festival. A girl shows up to class 30 minutes late with a jar with something black inside. She looks very strange and is acting strangely. Her name is Tamira, and she's Indian too. Samida seems embarrassed, possibly because she feels that Tamira's strange behavior may make the other students feel that Indians are strange. This is a problem that a lot of black and brown people experience. They sometimes feel that one person's bad behavior may be used to judge everyone from their community. After class, Teacher Joyce is worried and asks Samida what is wrong with Tamira. We find out that Tamira even eats lunch by herself under the bleachers. Joyce thinks that Samida should look after her girl. Samida says no, that Tamira is grown up and can look after her own self. Later, we see Samida hanging out with Kitty in the gym. Kitty is a white girl with pretty red hair, and Samida is helping Kitty with math. They hear a noise under the bleachers. It is Tamira. Kitty talks about how Tamira gives her the creeps, but she'll understand if it's a cultural thing. Samida tells her it is not. Tamira starts staring at Samida, and it makes her very uncomfortable. So she asks Kitty to leave with her. Later, we see Tamira walking home in the rain with blood dripping out of her backpack. She's carrying raw meat to put into the jar. There's eerie music and movement in the jar. Then the jar cracks. Samida and Kitty are in the changing area of the gym and are talking about their mothers. And Samida says she doesn't want to end up like her mother because her mother is always afraid. We are beginning to understand why Samida may not want to do the things her mother wants her to do. She's trying to distance herself from her mother and her fears. Tamira shows up with her jar and Kitty leaves. Tamira tells Samida that she needs her help with something, but she needs her to believe her. She then tells Samida that the stories their mothers used to tell them about evil spirits are true, and there is one in the jar. That she got it from his house, and that she's trying to feed it, but it doesn't seem enough to contain it. She doesn't say the name of whose house she got it. She needs Samida's help with it. Samida seems to think that Tamira is having mental problems. She hits the jar and it falls and breaks. Tamira is upset about the broken jar and exits, leaving a book on the ground. All the other white girls are staring at Samida and she looks embarrassed. She sees the book that fell and picks it up. She runs after Tamira, who is very upset, and Samida is not able to calm her down. As they speak, Tamira seems to see something behind Samida, but Samida doesn't see it. Tamira starts getting really worked up and chanting, and Samida decides to leave to get some help. Tamira starts screaming, begging her not to go. The invisible presence appears to be real and grabs Tamira. Samida returns with Joyce, but he cannot find Tamira. Police is called and Tamira is declared a missing person. We cut to see Tamira lying down in a yellow glowing room, trying not to scream. Day number 1 after Tamira's disappearance. Samida is at the puja ceremony. Her mom asks that they pray for Tamira's family not to end up like the Chowdhuries. Samida pulls her father aside to ask what happened to the Chowdhuries. Her father explains that the son, Kiran, had begun acting strange and talking to something that wasn't there. And soon the whole family was no more. Samida looks at the book Tamira dropped and sees the initials KC. She realizes that the book belonged to Kiran Chowdhury. She decides to leave the house. Her mom is not happy that she's leaving, but her father tells her mom to let her go. Samida bikes over to the gym at school to look through the book, which was Kiran's journal. She sees drawings and markings in it. There's a drawing of a monster. There's writing that says, "Trap it, keep it inside in a vessel." There's another page with a bunch of sevens written all over. She does an online search for what 7 stands for in Hinduism. It is a spiritual and a sacred number. Russ texts her to ask if she's coming. In the shadow of her phone, she sees a strange shape and eyes. She looks around but sees nothing. Samida makes it over to the hangout. She and Russ are hanging out awkwardly until he asks her to dance. She's very shy and doesn't want to at first, but he's able to convince her and they dance together and they look like they're having fun until it starts raining. They run into his car. Russ asks her what's on her mind and she says that she's thinking about Tamira. She asks if he remembers the boy at school who died last year. That was Kiran. Russ remembers and it appears that Kiran's body was burned even though the house wasn't. We now know that the burnt body in the first scene of the movie was Kiran's. Sam feels that Kiran's house is somehow connected to Tamira's disappearance. And Russ drives over there with her. They begin exploring the house and see a painting on the wall with something either going in or coming out of a boy's mouth. It looks like the paintings in Kiran's journal. They hear police sirens and run out. Samida accidentally leaves the journal. In horror movies, this typically means that they will have to come back. We flash to a scene of Tamira screaming in fear. Samida wakes up. It was a dream. She sees the eyes she had seen in the gym, but they are in the dark of her closet. When she shines her flashlight to it, it is no longer there. She turns off the flashlight and it looks like it's coming to get her, and then she wakes up. She had had a dream within a dream. Day number 2 of Tamira's disappearance. Samida goes to the kitchen to tell her mother that something bad was happening to her, but her mother was still upset about her leaving puja the day before. Her mother has noticed that Samida does not invite her friends over anymore and does not speak their language anymore. She's upset that Samida wants to be like her white friends. Samida is rude to her mother and asks her why she bothered to come to America to just be another Desi housewife who cooks and cleans. This scene confirms that Samida has been trying to fit in with her white friends and wants to put some distance between her and her Indian culture. Samida and Russ are back at Kiran's house. Russ finds and comes out with a journal. Samida is sitting on the backyard swings and he joins her on the other swing. He asks her what is wrong. She explained that she and Tamira used to be best friends when they were younger, but they grew apart when they grew up because she wanted to fit in and Tamira didn't. She says that she does not like the way the white people look at her when she hangs out with Tamira, nor when Kiran died. She doesn't like to stand out as different. Russ kisses her, smokes and offers her a smoke. She takes a puff and he asks to kiss her again. This time, she coughs during the kiss because of the smoke. As she stands up coughing, she hears her name from inside the house. She goes in. Ross hears a creak on his swing, looks behind, and some invisible presence begins to whip him and hurt him with a swing. Samida comes out to see Russ in trouble and she starts yelling. The force continues to beat up Russ until he passes away. The police and her parents arrive and she looks like she's in shock. All the white people gathered around are staring at her. The thing she was so worried about is happening. While she was trying to distance herself from her mother and her fears, she did not realize that she, Samida, was motivated by her own fears. A fear of being seen as different, which is why she had tried so hard to fit in. Day number 3 after Tamira's disappearance. Samida wants to go to school as though nothing has happened. She doesn't speak to anyone, not even her parents, when they ask her what has happened. Later that night, she hears her mother crying. She comes out. She hears flies are buzzing. Everything in the fridge is spoiled. Half of the back of her mother's head seems to be covered with flies. It's not her mother, but a monster that starts chasing her. She screams she had been having a bad dream. Day number 4 after Tamira's disappearance. Samida goes to Joyce at school for help. She asks Joyce to promise to believe her. She then tells Joyce about what happened. Joyce says that she looks like she has not been getting sleep. She wonders whether Samida is saying things that are not there because she's tired. Joyce agrees to help and Samida sends the photos from Kieran's journal. Samita sees the creature behind Joyce, screams, and runs away. This scene looks very much like when Samira tried to ask her, Samita, for help. Joyce must have felt the presence because she not only turns around, she also tries to feel the air. Later, Joyce asserts the picture and tells Samita about a demon called Pishash that feeds on negative energy. It is a flesh eater, a devourer of souls. Your fear is like the demon Pishash. It feeds on negative energy. And just like the demon, your fear becomes stronger when you think negative thoughts about yourself. I cannot do what I should do. I'm not strong enough. I'm not capable enough. But staying afraid will only keep you small. It'll keep you not doing what you need to do to grow. And if you do not pursue your dreams, you will not succeed. And if you do not succeed, you will not see yourself in a good light. And when you don't like yourself, you will not think you're worthy of good things. And you will not treat your mind and your body right. This is the way fear keeps making you smaller and smaller until there's nothing left of yourself that you like. Your soul is eaten up and your body suffers too. Joy tells her to trap the demon in a container and keep it there. Joyce asks Samita if she had heard these stories growing up, maybe from her parents. Interesting question, because sometimes fear is inherited. It has been cited that about 80% of people who do not swim had a parent who did not swim either. Parents who fear deep water tend to tell their children how dangerous deep water is and try to keep their children away from it. Not all, but a lot. Children who have been hearing their whole lives how dangerous deep water is are likely to grow a fear of deep water themselves. Samita goes over to her mom who is praying and asks her about the demon Pishash. Her mother tells her that she was taught to never sleep with a bad feeling in our hearts because there's a dark thing that feeds on those feelings. So I ask you, what do you want to feel? If you want to feel calm, then you have to practice being calm. If you want to feel comfortable, then you have to practice being comfortable. You strengthen what you practice. Samita's mom tells her that the demon attacks your sanity, isolates you from those who love you, hurts those who try to help you, doesn't kill you right away, but when it's ready, it eats your soul. Have you heard the saying that hurt people hurt people? This is true. If you're in pain and someone touches a spot that is painful, you scream. This happens whether the pain is in our body or in ourselves. We end up lashing out at those who are near, some who might have come close to help us. No one likes to be lashed out at, and eventually even the helpers disappear. This is how your fear and your hurt isolates you and hurts those you love. Her mother tells her that if you face a Pishash alone, you won't survive. Her mother then teaches her a chant, which is a call for peace from the stars and seas, but most importantly, from within you. You would need to search inside yourself for what you're afraid of, understand how you got there, and forgive yourself. Feel the feelings associated with it. Write all those fearful feelings on the pages of your journal. You can even speak to the thing that you fear. How did you become afraid? By writing and speaking, you take the fear from within and put it outside of you. You give yourself permission to start on a clean page. A therapist can also help you through this process. You also deserve and should get all the support you need during your process of healing from fear. A community of people who are also journeying away from the same fear can help encourage you and share lessons learned. If you have a fear of deep water, we have developed a gentle step-by-step process to guide you on your journey away from fear. Check out the links in the description. You'll get the course and also join a community of people who are journeying away from that fear. Do not face your Pishash alone. Now back to the movie. Eventually, the demon tries to hurt Joyce, who's helping her. While Samita and her mother make some food to try to make the demon happy, they hear a noise at the door and think it might be the demon, but it's her father who has come home early. The demon ends up leaving Joyce alone and comes to Samita's house. It hurts her dad and comes after her and her mother, who chant together and drive it away. Samita asks her mom where it might go, and she says that it would go somewhere where there's been a death. Now Samita knows that Samira must be in Kieran's house. Now bold, She rides her bike there to try to fight the demon together with Samira. She gets knocked about, but eventually finds Samira, who is too weak. But the demon won't enter the jar. It knocks her out and tries to eat Samira. Samira wakes up and gets it away from Samira, and this time it breaks the jar. The two girls start chanting and Samira uses her body as a jar to trap it. 1 year later, they all meet. Samira, her parents, Tamira, and Joyce to celebrate their survival, and we find out that she continuously eats raw meat to feed the demon. Final scene. Samira and Tamira are best friends again. Tamira asks Samira what happens if it tries to get out. Samira says, no matter what happens, it won't get out again. We won't let it. As Tamira walks away, we hear eerie music. Samira looks disturbed. The problem with Kieran, Tamira, and eventually Samira is that after they had trapped the demon, they kept carrying it around. Carrying the burden of the fear with them, it made every aspect of their lives worse. What are your thoughts about the movie? What is your pishash? What are you afraid of? Let me know down in the comments. I know you may not feel fearless now, but hang with me and we'll get there together.